podcast show coming to you live on a Saturday afternoon. We will be discussing so many things. The draft picks that were picked on Thursday and the few that we picked up today on Saturday. We're going to talk about the trade of Trent Williams. We're going to talk about trading away Breida and trading away Goodwin to Miami and to where did the other guy go to? Oh, I can't think of where he went to, but I know Philadelphia. So we're going to be talking about all that. But before we do that, show your support and love for the Niner Sickness podcast by hitting the like button on YouTube and subscribing to our channel. And most importantly, hitting the notification bell so that you will be notified each and every time we go live. We want you to support us by joining us on YouTube. Again, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and hit that like button. We would truly appreciate that. With no further ado, I'm going to bring my boy, my co-host for tonight. No introduction is needed. Eric Davis himself. What's going on, Eric? Say hi to everybody, brother.
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to the Niner Sickness podcast.
What's up, Renjoy? Miranda, how you doing? Welcome to the show. Yeah, man, there's so many topics to talk about, man. I'm so excited to get the show started, man. It's going to be fun. We definitely did a lot of moves. I just want to start this show with giving credit where credit is due, man. John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, these people are just freaking geniuses when it comes to the draft. A lot of people don't like the draft that we made with Solomon Thomas. He hasn't been working out. I know a lot of people don't like that we traded up for Reuben Foster. He's no longer in the team. So be it. But if it wasn't for that trade with Chicago to move down one spot, George Kittle would not have been on this team. So we gained that 5th round because of that move. So there's a lot of variables that takes place. Hold on, guys. Okay. Yeah, man. So there's a lot of things that took place, and they only have gotten better. The Dante Pettis, I still think he's going to be a great receiver. I think he went through a slump in 2019. Hopefully he wakes up. But he's definitely somebody that I'm going to keep my eye out. But, hey, Deebo Samuel, this kid is special. He looks like he's a hit home run. The kid that we got in the 5th round, linebacker Dre Greenlaw, it's another one that we hit it to the outfielder, man, and this kid is special. So we're definitely in the right direction. And what we did today, I know we didn't do that many picks. I know we didn't get that many players, but listen, with the roster that we have, Eric, there's not that many holes to fill. A lot of these players are not going to be on the team come to the 53. So there's certain places that we have to fill, and one of those was definitely the defensive tackle void that was left by DeForest Buckner. We were able to accomplish that by getting Javon Kinlaw. And I love what they did. They were able to trick the Succaneers and believing that we wanted that tackle, and they were able to move up, gave us a 4th. Okay. By giving us that 4th, we were able to use that to move back up, as we all know, to get our receiver, which, whether you like him or not, whether you think he's a good pick or not, based on what I've been hearing, Eric, based on what I've been hearing, he has, Kyle Shanahan said that they almost took him at 13. They were very, very deciding, should we take him at 13? They wanted him at 13 because they didn't know the fee was going to be down. They didn't want to, they didn't know if he was going to reach 31. When they got them, that's why they went down one spot. They got that 4th pick, and they decided, okay, maybe we can move up if we need to. they went ahead and got Kinlaw to bring into that defense, and we know the rest is history. But before I continue, let me bring my boy in, Mr. SF Florida Mike himself, so he can say hi to everyone. What's up, Mike? Say hi to everyone, brother.
Well, I have to say Guten Abend because it's evening time. Buenos tardes. Is that how I say it in Spanish?
Buenas tardes, uh-huh.
And good good evening in English.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, so we were just talking about how genius John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan have been since they've been here in this organization, what the things they have done. I was just mentioning with Eric that whether people don't like the idea that we got Brandon Ayuk from Arizona State. This kid was a kid. I know a lot of people were like, we should have got CeeDee Lamb. We should have got. I like CeeDee Lamb, but this kid is special too. He's a little bit more raw than CeeDee Lamb, but under Kyle Shanahan's tutelage, under Kyle Shanahan's system, he will mold him to be that player that we know he can be. What Shanahan's seen in him. Now defenses do not know what's going to hit him. They don't know who's going to do the misdirection, who's going to do the under routes. Is it going to be Debo, or is it going to be Brandon? You know what I mean? And so it's going to keep the defenses on their toes. Kyle Shanahan said, for what I've heard, that they were thinking about taking him at 13. Brandon Ayuk. That's how much they wanted him at 13. But they know they needed defense to fill it, especially to fill that void in from DeForest Buckner. So they took him and they were able to move down. They did it again. They did it to the Bears, and now they did it to the Buccaneers. They moved one spot down, okay, and got a 4th-round pick for him. Now, for everybody out there that thought they want to see the Lamb or Jerry Jeudy, they were both there for the taking. They were. But don't you guys think, Mike and Eric, that getting Javon Kinlaw to replace Buckner and then getting someone like Brandon Ayuk to come in and replace Emmanuel Sanders was two good pieces to bring in? We didn't necessarily have to get someone just like CeeDee Lamb into our offense. I like what Kyle Shanahan did. I want to get your guys' perspective on that. What do you guys thoughts on the Brandon Ayuk pickup? Go ahead, Eric. You go first, and then we'll ask Mike.
I think it was a good pickup. A lot of people were leaning towards the other two players that were available, and I think we made the right choice going defense with our first pick because there were so many receivers. The only other receiver I could have seen us taking if we didn't trade up and we lost out on a youth would have been Chenault from Colorado. He would have been a great fit too, I think. There was just a little bit of concern about his injury that he had with a core muscle tear. But yeah, I mean, our defense relies heavily on substitution and staying fresh. Not like the 2012 team where everybody played every snap. And I think, as you've seen the season get, like the beginning of the season, our defense was the most dominant defense in the league. As our players started dropping and getting hurt because we had a bye in week 3, which is crazy. We started losing a little bit of rotations, so we ended up having to improvise with what we had.
Yep. That is correct. Yeah, bro. Yeah, we did it. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched him in college. I know he only has 1 year. We lost him. He only has 1 year of school. But the upside, Mike, the upside of this kid is phenomenal, man. The ceiling, what Kyle Shanahan can do with him, for what I've been reading, the humbleness, the hunger this kid has. This kid has hunger. This kid wants to be better. He wants to show the NFL that he belongs. He's hungry. He's humble. He's willing to learn. Those are the things you want in a receiver. And I think he brings that to this offense. And I think with a combination of Deebo Samuel and Ayuk, it's going to be awesome. I don't know. What's your thoughts on those two guys being on the field together, brother?
Man, first and foremost, I got to say big shout out to everybody who's tuning in. And Joe Staley, man, we appreciate you, brother. You know, everything you done, man. Your personality as well off the field is definitely one I'm gonna miss, man. It's a sad day, but it's a happy day because you're happy. What I think is this right here. Parag went into his wallet. He drew out the checkbook. You know, he got the 49 wallet like me, and he said, man, I got to look at what we got to be sustainability for the future. I got to get a young guy that's cheaper, which he did in Kinlaw, which he did in Brendan. I don't want to mess up his last name. Is it Ayuk?
Ayuk, yeah.
Ayuk, okay. So he under, you know, as an organization, we had everybody who plays a part in our building process, and Parag does the financial work. And knew, like, if you look at the financial language that we did today, it was genius. It was total genius. You mean you're talking about like Debo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk together? It's going to be a lethal combination. Brandon's going to have to adjust to the NFL, obviously, but we saw how Debo came this year. After we got Emmanuel Sanders, Debo took off. He accelerated in his growth. So hopefully we can get that experience that Debo has got and give it to Brandon Ayuk early, and he can hopefully develop earlier. You know what I mean? But either way, it's an upgrade. It appears to be an upgrade over what we. I mean, it's a good replacement. Let me say it like that. He's like a younger Emmanuel Sanders and some different intangibles. So I like it, man. I think that too is going to be good.
I agree. I agree. Welcome back there, Nick. Eric, we lost you there. Welcome back, brother. But yeah, I like it too, bro. I like that. What Kyle Shanahan is going to do with him. I know a lot of there's when you read the strength of this kid and you read the things that he's not really good at. They don't outweigh the good things he can do for us, man. And I started watching tape on him. I knew of him, but I wasn't too familiar. He's not a burner like Henry Ruggs the third is, but he's fast. He jukes. He's able to separate, and his arm wingspan, I forgot what it is, but they're huge, man. This guy can separate. You can use his arm to separate from defenders, and that's what you need, man. You know, he's also one that if he catches the ball, he brings it to his chest right away, and he turns and tries to go towards the end zone for a touchdown. So having him on the field with Debo Samuel, Kendrick Bourne, Jalen Hurd, to see what happens with Trent Taylor. It's going to be awesome with the kids that we brought in. That guy Jennings, I know we picked up in the 7th round. I know he's not fast, but out of Tennessee, but he's a big guy, 6'3". He's a 50-50 guy, and he can catch the ball very well. He goes up and gets it, so he's a red zone threat. We don't need the speed from him because we have other receivers that can do that, man. So I'm excited what John Lynch did. I think we scored great for not having that many picks. I think we did great in the draft, man. And we talked about it a little bit, but we not even talked about Trent Williams. Bringing him, I think personally myself, I think he's one of, if not the best left tackle in the NFL right now. That's how good he is, man. Definitely. I mean, how often do you get the opportunity to replace a Hall of Famer like Joe Staley with another possible Hall of Famer, or he's going to be a Hall of Famer? That doesn't happen very often, man. We got blessed that we were able to get a Hall of Famer like Joe Staley, and like Mike said earlier, we want to wish him the best. Thank you for his services, his commitment, his sweat, blood to this team through the ups and downs. And if anybody other than the fan base knows how it is to go up and down on this team, it's definitely Joe Staley, man. He's been here from 2007. He's seen some good times and he's seen some bad times, man. And unfortunately, if we didn't get a ring from him with him on the roster, but I know that if we win a ring in 2020, Jed York, John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan will not hesitate to go and present him that ring. As even though he's not on the team anymore, that's just how much respect they have for Joe Staley for everything he has done and done for this organization and his class and his respect. Off and on the field. it's like no other, man. He taught Mike McClinchy a lot of good things. Now it's time for Mike McClinchy and to step up and take his role and play better. And then we're going to have Trent Williams on the other side blocking. And what I like about that, you guys, and I want you guys to input on this, isn't that going to just make Nick Bosa that much better in practice when he has to go against Trent Williams in practice? Man, that's going to make Nick Bosa that much better, in my personal opinion. What's your guys' thoughts on that? Go ahead, Mike.
Well, yeah, I mean, anytime you have a lot of competition up there, it's definitely going to make both sides better. Nick Bosa's coming off a hell of a rookie year, and he's only going to get better. And, same thing across the board on the O-line. I think a lot of those guys, even the ones who were there last year, are going to be better as well. So we're looking stronger. Like I told people, man, building in trenches is why we have the best success. This is why we can run the ball very well. This is when we dominate both lines of scrimmage, we are able to put a stop to disrupt them on defense, and on offense, we're able to drive the ball pretty much at our leisure. So Garoppolo is going to be more improved. Everybody's going to be improved, man.
Yeah, I hear that. What's your thoughts about that, Eric?
I think it's the additions on our defensive front, and it's going to be crazy how practice is going to work out with Bosa and Kinlaw there. I think our defense overall is going to be majority of what we saw last year. Of course, it's hard to repeat success, but with that offensive line, they're really going to be tested. I think the biggest concern is going to be on the inside interior alignment with the guards and the center, with Richburg not staying. He hadn't been staying healthy since his tenure. He was considered a solid pickup whenever we got him, but he just hasn't been able to stay healthy for us. So I'd like to see what he can really do when he's healthy.
Yeah, I do like that. Maybe a comment by Richard Bryan. What's up, Richard? How you doing, brother? Thank you for your faithfulness to this podcast. I appreciate that. Thank you for the love, man. And once again, congratulations on those jerseys, brother. His comment says, Jennings, Ayuk are going to be great contributors to our offense. I wish Breida well in Miami. I wish the best for Staley and his retirement. Thanks, Joe. Everybody's showing the appreciation for Joe, and everybody's showing the love for him. Most definitely, man. And wish him the best, man. I wish him the best time, with his family, and he can just enjoy the game with us and be another great fan for the red and golden, man. So yeah, man. So Jennings is a 7th round pick out of Tennessee. I mean, the kid's great, but it's going to be hard for him to make the roster. I mean, honestly, but Ayuk definitely will be in that roster. Now, I'm hoping Jennings can get some receivers on their competition. But I don't know about what you guys think, but I think they brought him in to either compete or to put some fire or insurance for Jalen Hurts. I don't think the Niners are really, whether they know or letting us know where they stand with Jalen Hurts. We don't know if his back's completely healed. We don't know if he's going to be able to play. We don't know what's going on with him. And they're both same body type. So let's see what happens, man. But competition brings the best out of everybody. So you can never go wrong with having a lot of people in different positions to compete with one another and see the best 53 come out of it. But I'm looking forward to this. The only downside about it is not having OTAs because of the thing they were going through right now might hurt a lot of these young kids. You know what I mean? But we'll see what happens. But I'm excited about definitely about Kinlaw, Ayuk coming in. I like that tackle that we were talking about earlier that we picked up. The kid is. I watched him ball a little bit. I like the idea that he's played guard as well. A lot of when he got drafted, I'm like, this is before we knew about Trent Williams and we knew about Joe Staley. We're like, what? Why are we drafting a tackle? But then I looked more into him and I noticed he has played guard. I'm like, oh, okay, they're bringing him to compete for that guard position. and that's good, man. So who do you think that he's going to compete with? The right side or the left side of that guard? Mike, and then we'll call it, and then Eric, you can answer afterwards.
Man, I don't know, man. It's a lot just gonna happen between now and then. So, like you said, with the OTAs probably being minimized more than likely, it's a lot that can happen. So I really can't say right now, but it'll be interesting battle to watch, man. The biggest thing that I'm more interested in is just seeing how our secondary is going to come out this season because I don't believe we really addressed that in this draft. Not that we had to. I mean, we can use some more, but hopefully the guys back there improve. That's what I'm going to be looking at, like a Kello. I want to see him improve and step up. I want to see everybody step up and improve more. Our front seven is going to do their thing, so the secondary can just continue to get better, and especially a Kello back there, I think he has potential. It's going to be interesting, man. I think the secondary and wide receivers are my biggest positions, just to kind of see how they grow and how they continue to evolve.
How they develop. I got you. I got you. What's up? What's your thoughts on that, Eric?
Starting with the offensive side with the competition, we did lose. Was it Mike Parson?
Pearson,
Yeah.
yeah, we let him go.
We lost him. He had a neck injury last year. So, and then we brought in Tom Compton, which I don't really foresee. I don't know too much about him. I know he played with the Jets, I believe. Then, I mean, Brunskill, he came in and played. He played great for Joe Staley when they had him out at tackle. But at guard, there's a lot of question marks at the guard position. And like I said before in previous podcasts, I really like Garland to take over for Richburg, and I thought that would have been one of the moves that we made as far as cutting him, because I'm pretty sure that we would save some money on him. On the defensive side of the ball, I have to agree with Mike. We didn't make a secondary move like I'd like us to, like a DB safety free cornerback. I would have really liked us to make an addition there, and we didn't. We brought back Jason Barrett, which he didn't really show us a lot. He just got hurt. And Dante Johnson, which we've already known what we've got out of him the last 2 or 3 times we've seen him on the field. He's just, and the inconsistency from McKillo, it's killing me.
I'll add on to that too, man. With the secondary, I think even with that being said, unfortunately in the draft, we all know that we can't draft every single hole in need. But the good news is that we do have some experience coming back, and they don't have to be super great because our front seven, that's what they're for. I noticed that Lynch formula, like I said, is the trenches. You notice Buckner goes, he replaces them with Kinlaw. And then he continues to build that keep that core front seven. He does other trades and maneuver other parts so that way we can restructure deals and keep that core front seven, and then trade in and out other guys that are expendable for the better of the team. So I like what he's doing. If the secondary can just hold their own, I think we'll be fine. If the good thing is, if we didn't address secondary and we don't do anything going forward, at least we can say, okay, Akello, this is your year. No excuses here. You got this year. What you gonna do? You know what I mean? And if he has inconsistencies again, even though we're winning, next year we got a first and second round, so we can get a dominant player back there next season. So hopefully he improves, man. I want to see him improve because I don't want to be in this situation. I want to see all parts clicking.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Killer Witherspoon, personally myself, I don't think the Niners are so concerned with that backfield. I think they're confident in what they have with Sherm. They're confident what they have with Emmanuel Mosley, Killer Witherspoon, Tart, Jimmy Ward, and then Harris. I think they like Marcel Harris. I think they like what he's shown, and I don't think they're that concerned so much because what Mike just said. Well, John Lynch, he believes in the trenches, man, and when you have a front seven like we do, he believes in the Warren Sapps of the world. He's always said it multiple times that John Lynch, Brooks, the linebacker for the Buccaneers at the time would not be who they were if it wasn't for the Warren Saps in the front line. Just going after the quarterback, bringing just mayhem to the quarterback, and so he's brought that mentality to the San Francisco 49ers. Now, as they got here, we had two towers already. We had DeForest Buckner, and we had Eric Armstead, but they continue to fill into that spot. We all saw what happened when Dee Ford and Nick Bosa was not on the team. As good as Dee Ford was, and as good Armstead was kind of coming from injury, we suffered. When you can't put pressure on the quarterback, our secondary got just exposed. Okay, they got exposed. The receivers the quarterback was holding on to the ball longer than he should have, and receivers were doing their thing. And yeah, I don't care how good of a corner you are, man. If the quarterback is not being chased around, a receiver is gonna, they're gonna score on you, man. So, the Niners knew that. They knew they had to put pressure against opposing quarterbacks. They just could not leave quarterbacks out there with all the time in the world. So that's why they traded for Dee Ford. They brought in the Nick Bosa. And you saw the year we had in 2019, man, all the way to the Super Bowl because of the front seven. And to be honest with you, if I'm not mistaken, I think we had Sherm that first year without those two guys. And the secondary, there was really no change to the secondary. And our secondary, we were first or second against the pass. Why? Because we had the front seven going after the quarterback, bringing mayhem, and the pressure was not on the DBs. And the DBs looked good. Same DBs that we had the year before where they were getting destroyed left and right because there was no pressure. So with that said, man, that just tells you right there that if you don't bring pressure against the quarterback, I don't care how good your corners are, you can have the Jeff Okudas back there. It doesn't matter, man. You're going to get burned. But if you bring that pressure and that quarterback's running for his life and he's not able to make his progression, he's not able to make his reads, then you're going to get the opportunity the quarterback's going to make a mistake and the corners are going to have an opportunity to make a play. And that's what we've seen in 2019. And I think that's what we're going to continue to see in 2020. And I think that's why, since we had to let go of Defoe, and I don't know about you guys, but I heard this from a lot of Niner fans. And it amazes me, these fans, that the things they say, man. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the Niner faithful, but they're like, how come the Niners got rid of a talent like Defoe just to bring in another defensive tackle in his place? But they're looking at it from the perspective of a player versus another player, but they're not looking at it from the business standpoint. Okay, we couldn't keep Defoe because of the amount of money he wanted to get paid after we paid Eric Armstead what we paid him and what we're eventually going to pay Kittle. We couldn't keep DeForest Buckner. We had to make a decision to trade him. We got a return, and we used that return, the number 13. And what did we do? We turned it into 2 picks, right? We traded down 1, and we got a 4th round out of it. And what did the Niners do? They went and got a cheaper, younger version of Defoe, and he doesn't have to play as good as DeForest Buckner, but as long as he does his job with a surrounding cast of Dee Ford, Eric Armstead, and Nick Bosa, Keenan Allen's going to be great, and his ceiling is great, and that defense is not going to miss a beat. And that's the process that I believe John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan are thinking, fill in that void. With it, now we're going to have them for what, at least for the next 4 years, all those guys under contract. That's going to be amazing. We have Warner under contract, K1 Alexander, Greenlaw. So those 7 are going to be under contract for at least 4 years, and that's good. That's a good problem to have. So we can always address secondary next year in the 2021 draft. I don't think we had to address it so much this year, but I just want the Niner fans to realize that it was a business decision why we got rid of Defoe, and then we replaced him because he did leave a hole, and we replaced him with someone that's going to come in for the minimum is a rookie. So I don't know if you guys want to chime in on that, but a lot of Niner fans were upset that we drafted defensive tackle Mike because we let go of Defoe.
Well,
Why would we let go of Defoe and then bring him in?
like I said earlier, man, the draft was spot on this year because we addressed it from a business perspective and complemented it with a talent perspective. If you keep, like you mentioned, you keep Buckner, I'm going to give some more tidbits to add on to that. If you keep DeForest Buckner, not only do you have problems retaining and paying players like George Kittle, you also have problems retaining other players that are just as essential as complementary parts to what we're doing. So you have guys that you're looking at and you're like, man, how can we keep this guy? How can we keep that guy? And with all the restructuring going on, and keeping in mind that we're going to have some free agents probably that we're not even aware of right now, we probably want to clear some cap space because we might bring in somebody. You know what I mean? You have to think about the whole overall systematic structure of what we're trying to accomplish. And this is another thing. And I hate using this team. I really do. But because they won 6 Super Bowls with that guy who's now in Tampa Bay, they had that formula to where they're able to take big name guys like a Chandler Jones, who was big impact for them, and let him walk. They had guys like Randy Moss, let him walk, and they still end up winning because they replace him with quality type players. So if they let a Randy Moss go, they get 2 tight ends. So they get 2 for the price of 1 who can do the same production together combined as Randy Moss is 1 for cheaper. Why not? You don't ruin everything. You still can pay guys. You keep your core. That's the thing. We got to keep our core, man. Sustainability and consistency goes together.
Yeah, 100% true, man. And again, the Niner fans need to realize that it was a financial standpoint. But great organizations, they do that, Mike. They make sacrifices that they have to do to continue to make the team better.
Okay? Yeah, absolutely.
They got to make decisions that are not going to be popular with the fan base. They're not going to be popular, but they're not looking just at the moment. They're looking at 3 or 4 years from now. They're looking at all aspects of the team, not just an emotional side like the fans are. So we wait, Deebo was such a great player, but I guarantee you, and no disrespect to Deebo, no disrespect for DeForest Buckner, wish him the best. But if Kinlaw starts kicking ass and starts playing really good and starts going after the quarterback, I guarantee you in a year and a half or 2 years, we're going to forget about Deebo, man. Not in a disrespectful way, but if we're going after that quarterback and we're winning games and we're getting somewhere, they're not going to think about Deebo.
Let me interject this in too, bro. Here's a funny thing. The same, if there are 40, I don't know if these guys are 49er fans because, people can come on any type of chat or social media and pose as Niner fans because I've seen that happen a lot. But for any Niner fan that does feel that way, just remember, a lot of you were the same ones who was crying and complaining that we didn't get Khalil Mack. Remember that? I'm not going to let you forget because I know a lot of you personally. And when we didn't get Khalil Mack, guess who we got in there? DeForest Buckner. So it's the same thing. We didn't overpay for Khalil Mack. Instead, we got something at that time that was feasible for our budget and our growth. And when we got DeForest Buckner, we did what we did with him. We got him for all these years. Look at his career and look at Khalil Mack's career. No disrespect to Khalil Mack. He's a great talent, but definitely not worth mortgaging our future. Same thing with DeForest Buckner. Now that he's at that level where he's arguably one of the top defensive tackles up there in the league, his financial price is too high. It's not that we didn't want to retain him. It's DeForest Buckner wanting more income, which he deserves. So at the end of the day, we got to cut ties, man. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee the 49ers would have taken him had he wanted lesser money, but that's the business. If he's dominating at that position, at that elite of a level, playing all of those snaps, he's going to want more money as expected. So we can get a cheaper, just probably a better, a future better version. We don't know that yet, but we can get a much cheaper version and somebody who might even be better than Buckner. We don't know. We'll see. But Kinlaw has that potential, man.
Yeah, that ceiling is there. I mean, none of us know the future. None of us have a crystal ball. none of us can guess what's going to take place. But the thing is with Kinlaw, he's definitely, just by his pedigree and what he did in college, he's an upgrade from DJ Jones. He's an upgrade from Solomon Thomas in that position. He is not required to do much or to come in here and be the guy right away. He doesn't have to have that pressure on him that he has to be the guy that has to go after the quarterback and sack the quarterback because we need sacks. We have Nick Bosa coming in for the second year. We have Eric Armstead and we have D Ford doing that. That's the luxury that Kinlaw has, that he can develop. They can develop him into that player that they believe he's going to be in a year from now. And he can transition to that place of dominance. If he starts off the back and starts doing it, better for us, better for the Niners. But if he doesn't, as long as he does his job, he's great against the run. He stops the run. And you know what I mean? We have three guys going after the passer already. And this kid can go after the passer. People say he's not a great pass rusher. He is. He is. He's only going to get better. Okay, he's only going to get better with Coach Sala and also with our defensive line coach. I can't think of his name at the moment, but it's they're going to develop into that player that we're going to enjoy for years to come. Yes, we all loved D4. Now I'm going to remind you this, and I know maybe this doesn't do much on the field. I want to get your guys' perspective, Eric and Mike. D Ford was great. He went after the quarterback. He was a big guy, but he was a gentle giant. Okay, he was a gentle giant from Hawaii, aloha, and he just loves everybody. Wanted to hug everybody. Kinlaw plays with a nastiness in him. This guy's nasty. He wants to get you on the ground. He's not gonna miss tackles. He's gonna pursue and he's gonna bring you to the ground. I like that dog in the front line. I want that dog in that. Again, that could just be me, but DeForest Buckner is a great guy. He's gonna continue to be great. But he was that gentle giant. I wanted somebody with a dogginess in him. I want somebody that's going to be like we definitely have a dog in offense now with Trent Williams. That guy's a dog. You saw what he did to Sherman. We'll talk about that later. Slap him on the face. Hopefully they got that resolved.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, they got it resolved. They tweeted. We'll talk about it. They tweeted about that with Jed York made a tweet. They both answered, and it's been squashed. But my thing is, I want dogs on both sides of the ball. We got a dog in Kinlaw. This guy's a dog, man. A pit bull on a freaking bone, and he's not going to let go. Debo, he will hold on to the bone, but if he smells something different, he'll drop the bone. He'll drop the bone, so to speak. I like that dog, so I can't wait to see what Kinlaw can bring in to that front line. But only time will tell to see if we make the right decision or not. But I got to give credit to the organization to fill that void. 2 players left. They were starters. Okay, we let go of a defensive tackle because of the money, and Emmanuel Sanders left. Okay, what do? Pick 14. We take a defensive tackle, fill in that void. We move, and then we come back and move up, and we take Brandon Ayuk, which is a lot of similarities to Emmanuel Sanders. What he was called. I think Brandon Ayuk is a better version of Emmanuel Sanders, in my perspective, and could be a better version, I should say, with clarity. And I like what they did. They filled 2 voids that were necessary. I don't think we had a void in the backfield. I don't think we had a void in the corners or safeties. I think we're okay. We definitely can get better, but we didn't have that void. I think the 2 voids that we had was receiver and defensive tackle, and we filled those with great players. I want to get you guys' thoughts on that. Do you think that we filled those positions with the right players? Whether they turn out to be great or not, that's only time will tell. But the aggressiveness of the team to do so and go after that, I think it was great. What do you guys think about that? Go ahead, Mike, and then Eric, you can answer after.
Well, I mean, the reason why I felt like we could have addressed secondary, not more because of a void, if you will. As far as depth, you're correct. We have enough guys back there. My thing was more of the fact that their contracts are coming up, and I'm not sure that we'll be able to retain these guys next year. So I was at least thinking maybe we can get one now and a couple more later, because I think we got like a few guys that we might not retain next year based on their contract situation in the secondary, or even performance that we might have to upgrade, based on inconsistencies like Akello. Not trying to call our man out, but I mean, let's just be real. Mosley stepped up in those situations where Akello was getting burnt. So, that was my thing. But yeah, you're right. As far as depth, we don't really technically have holes right now. We're good in secondary as far as depth, but quality, that's the thing. And hopefully everybody gets better.
Yep. What's your thoughts, Eric?
I'm gonna follow up with what he was saying about the secondary. I've seen some talk where people were doubting Sherman and saying that he should switch to free safety. They don't know how well he plays on the ball. I think that our cover three defense is more or less on playing with great safeties, which Jimmy Ward played great last year, but nothing taken away from him not being on the field. We have the best slot corner in the league with Guan Williams. He's also a great special teams player, and Emmanuel Mosley shocked the world when he came in for Killer Witherspoon. So, yeah, I would have loved that move to possibly get a safety late to try to fill that void in the back. Maybe an upgrade for
Tart. Quick, Eric. I'll let you finish real quick. Isn't Emmanuel Mosley a not drafted free agent? Wasn't he an undrafted
I believe
free
he
agent?
was. Moses? Yeah, he was undrafted.
So with that said, we're bringing in some undrafted players in that could possibly be defensive backs or safeties. We just have to wait and see what comes in. And people will say, well, you take people in the 7th round or undrafted that don't make the team. Well, wait a minute. Emmanuel Mosley made the team. Breida made the team. So the idea that these guys, because they're undrafted or get picked in the 7th round, don't make the team is not necessarily true. It's how much dog they have in them and what they bring into the practice field and what they show the coaches what they can do. If they can ball, they're going to make the 53. So maybe that replacement of Killer Witherspoon is in a free agent, undrafted free agent. I just wanted to throw in there because you have brought that up, Eric, but continue, please.
Yeah, I agree there too, but we may have pulled the trigger a little too early on some of the familiarity with Barrett, trying to learn the system, and Dante Johnson already knowing the system. It'd be interesting to see these next couple of days to see what undrafted free agents we go after. Trading now on the offensive side, trading Breida away shows that, Breida is a great running back. Don't get me wrong. He was our starter at the beginning of the year. I think Mostert will be the starter this coming year, but Jeff Wilson will work his way back in. And I think he should have got a little bit more playing time, like as somebody to come in late to give Mostert a little relief.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Yeah, absolutely. And let's see here, the questions here. Make sure I'm not leaving nobody out as we're continuing to talk. And everybody that's come on and join us, we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for your faithfulness, man, following us. Remember to follow us on Facebook by hitting our liking our channel, subscribing to our channel, and hitting the subscribe button so you guys are aware each and every time we go live, man. We appreciate you guys. Yeah, man. So we'll just have to wait and see what is going to develop in the next few days. I like what we have in the secondary for now. Yes, there will be some players leaving because of contract. K'Waun Williams may want too much money. We may not be able to keep him based on what he wants the following this year. But we can always worry about that in 2021. This year, we took care of the void of defensive tackle with Kinlaw, and we took care of Emmanuel Sanders by replacing him with Brandon and you to fill in that void and to use him and see what he does for this team, to see what way Kyle Shanahan is able to use him. I can't wait to see how creative Kyle Shanahan is going to be with these two guys. I can't wait to see Trent Taylor hopefully stays healthy and be that slot receiver that we want him to be, the little shifty guy. But real quick, I just want to change it a little bit. There's so many right now. We have quite a few. I think we have 11 receivers, if I'm not mistaken, on the roster. We're probably going to go with 7. I know, and I understand we're okay. Just to make clear, we're not there yet. We're far away. I understand all that, but for the sake of just conversational with this live, who do you think has a possibility to make the team in receivers, Mike?
I mean, definitely our first round pick, Brandon. I believe Jalen Hurd gonna come out there and do his thing. Trent Taylor. And honestly, man, that 7th rounder we got, man, I'm not gonna dismiss him. Just because he's a 7th rounder, like you pointed out earlier, we had undrafted free agents make it.
Thank you. Thank you.
And the thing is, man, guys might not have done the number 1 or even number 2 receiver for their college teams, but we got to remember, man, these colleges have different systems and schemes for certain type of guys. Like we saw George Kittle in the 5th round, and if anybody watches college football, even those who watch college football might not have been so familiar with because like down south where I live at, we don't really get a lot of West Coast football, unless it's a big brand name college on like USC playing Notre Dame or something. We're not going to see Iowa every week. So unless you're a college football junkie, you might know, but an average college football fan is going to pay attention to their team and their local proximity. So when you got a guy like George Kittle who's lighting it up at Iowa, at a college that might people might not know of, and he goes that late in the 5th round, Jennings for Tennessee might not have had the same impact at Tennessee that George Kittle had, obviously. However, he can come into this system and excel and play his part and be good at what he does well. If he's not fast, he doesn't have to be fast in the red zone. He might be one of the best red zone threats on the team for all we know. You know what I'm saying? And if he is, that's his bread and butter. That's his role. If we get in within the red zone, hey Jennings, you got to go up there and go get it. We're going to you. But at the end of the day, we'll see. That's why we're gonna have competition, and I think it's healthy. Like let the best person compete and win and get that spot.
Yeah, I agree. Competition definitely is healthy for every position there is. And listen, every player that comes on the field, regardless if you come in the 1st round, I've seen 7 rounds beat out 1st rounders. I've seen undrafted free agents beat out 2nd rounders. Just because you get drafted high doesn't. I mean, if you're in the 1st round, you're going to make the team 3rd round. But just because you get drafted in the 3rd or 4th doesn't necessarily you're going to make the team. You're going to, a lot of those 7th rounders, depending on who they are, what kind of player they are, and what they show the coaches. If Breida was an undrafted free agent, Mosley was, and they both showed enough to stay on the 53. And we were able to develop Breida and turn him into a 5th round, which kudos to the front office, taking a undrafted free agent like Breida and then getting a 5th round from him, which was great, by the way. This way, by doing the trade with Trent Williams, all we really gave up was a 3rd round next year because we got our 5th back this year with the trade of Breida. And we were able to shave off nearly $7 million off the cap from both of those guys put together, especially, or if not more. But I know Breida not so much, but I knew Goodwin was carrying a pretty sized contract, man. So to unload his contract to Philly was great, even though a lot of people I heard a lot earlier when that happened, a lot of people were upset that all we did was switch picks with the Philadelphia Eagles. They got our 210 that we originally had, and we got their 190. So we moved down 20 spots. And people were like, but we gave him Goodwin. How can we just? I go, listen, we swapped picks. We went down 20 spots, and we unloaded that contract from the books, and that's what people don't see. It's okay. The trade, the pick, swap is great, but to be able to unload that contract, to me personally, was great that the Niners were able to do that, and Philadelphia was able to take the contract. So it was a win-win for both teams.
Beto, man,
they can afford to take that contract.
I'm gonna keep it real, Beto.
So
I don't think people really care about seeing reality. For the ones that are saying that, I think people live in a microwave society. They want to win right now, and all they think about is what can I, what are we doing? Why can't we this? Why can't we that? And the reality is this, man. We cannot afford to keep everybody. If you really want to have sustainability and longevity, you have to do what's best for the team. Period. You know what I'm saying? Look at the Rams. They went all in many years, lost a lot of first round picks and some draft capital, and then went for the win. And look how that turned out for them. Do you want to be like them, or do you want to be like us? You see what I'm saying? We're on a pace right now to be sustainable, to have an opportunity to compete for the Super Bowl for a long time now, at least for the next 5 years for sure. So as long as we keep doing what we're doing, you got to trust this system. Let me ask every fan this, right? Any fan who has a problem with the way we drafted or have any problems with any players that we did not retain right now to this point, tell me what you would have done better than the GMs that we have in hand to get us to the Super Bowl. Would you have taken Khalil Mack back then? Would you have let DeForest Buckner go or keep him and then have problems with keeping him and Kittle and then probably losing them next year anyway? You see what I'm saying? So it's not an ideal situation, man. Trust this process, bro. These GMs and coach really haven't done a lot of bonehead moves to give you, a Trent Baalke effect, if you will. But go ahead, Eric, man. Eric been quiet over there, man, like a library soaking up.
Hey, man, I'm gonna let you do your thing.
Nah, Eric got some knowledge to drop, man. Go ahead, Eric. Do your thing, bro.
Hey, I seen where somebody said name a first rounder that lost out to an undrafted free agent. The first person I'm going to name is Matt Breida. Matt Breida beat out Carlos Hyde for his starting position. That was one of the picks. That was interesting. But my hidden gem in this draft is going to be the tight end Warner that we drafted. That he's going to be a great compliment to Kittle as far as a run blocker. We didn't really have to go out and get a tight end from anybody else and give up that draft capital. We wanted to build young and stay young. And as far as the Goodwin trade goes with swapping with Philly, I think we made a great investment in a great offensive, potentially a great offensive tackle or offensive guard. I think he'll be used as a guard in our system. And I was thinking about that the 89, 90 49ers team. They didn't have they had a starting rotation. Yeah, they had a rotation of linemen that they used. Like if you were the starter for that game, it was only for like the half, and then they brought in another rotation to keep their guys fresh. And look how well that worked out for our team. I think this system I think our system works on depth. It's not based on skill positions. That's why we didn't go after Jerry Jeudy as a receiver. Yeah, he has potential to be the next Julio Jones, but if you heard Shanahan right, he said, "Hey, we don't need a big receiver. We can build around." Look at the yards after catch. Kittle had like crazy amounts of yards after catch, especially in his record-setting season. We're just going to nickel and dime and get our first downs and go down and score. We're going to beat you that way.
Hey, Beto.
Absolutely. Yes.
If you don't mind, I'll kill this Jerry Jeudy talk from any Niner fan that wants to debate what we just did. And I'm going to speak as a representative of going for long-term stability, okay? I'm going to break it down, if you don't mind, real quick, and I'll make it fast.
No, run with it.
If we get Jerry Jeudy, we don't get Kinlaw, okay? The reason why this is significant is because if we don't get Kinlaw, we have a hole to fill with D tackle and wide receiver. Who do you think is going to have the immediate impact year one? You see what I'm
Oh,
saying?
Kinlaw.
By far, because Judy's going to be. Where did he go?
He
Who
went to
picked
the
him up?
Broncos right after us.
Broncos. Yeah, he's going to have to fit in with Sutton and all those other guys over there. He's going to have to learn their scheme. It's going to take him time. Look how long it took Deebo Samuel to develop. Before when Emmanuel Sanders got there, he really wasn't. He had some drops. He made a little plays here and there, but he had some drops. But when Emmanuel Sanders came there, it expedited that process, and that was later. After halfway of the season. And we were blessed to get Emmanuel Sanders because had Emmanuel Sanders not got there, his growth would have been a little slower. So his impact probably wouldn't have been expedited had a veteran presence not been there to groom him. You take Kinlaw on the other hand, he's instant impact, day one starter. He's going to come in and wreck shop right away. Guarantee you. And I mean, he's going to do his thing this year. He's not going to be some rope-a-dope type guy. He's going to come in. He got complementing parts next to him with Bosa and Ford.
Excuse me.
He got a hell of a linebackers behind him. He's gonna do his thing. So my thing is, it is great that we got and look at our division. We got 2 mobile quarterbacks. So you're rather missing out on a Kinlaw to get a Judy when you can get a receiver who is Judy that much better than what we got in Brandon Ayuk? Like, do you really believe that he's so far better that we can risk losing Kinlaw? No, I'm gonna say I don't believe he is. I got to see it. I believe Ayuk's going to be damn near just as good.
Yeah.
So
Especially in this system.
bottom line is Kinlaw is a immediate impact player. He filled a huge hole that DeForest Buckner left behind. Yeah, we have players that can rotate, but he gives us an instant impact start immediately day one. I'm not so positive that Jared Duty is a day one or year one, I should say, impact guy more than Brandon Ayuk. I don't see it. You know what I mean? But we'll see. If I'm incorrect, then I'm incorrect. But I'm still glad that we got Kinlaw and Brandon Ayuk. I'm glad. I think Ayuk's going to be a hell of a receiver for us in this system.
You know who he
I
reminded
agree.
me of? He really reminded me of Torrey Smith. That's who he really reminded me of. Torrey Smith was great at running one route. He ran just a deep end route. And if you notice those deep end receivers like Randy Moss, Brandon Lloyd, those kind of receivers didn't work out for us because we don't throw the deep ball as much as everybody else likes to. Now our
So
stats say the
you're saying that
accuracy
Jerry
there.
Judy reminds you of so you're making the comparison of Jerry Judy, right? Not Ayuk, right?
No, not Ayuk. Ayuk is more of a. I'm trying to think of a receiver to really explain him because based on his route running,
Yeah. Okay. So you were talking about Jerry. Yeah. And just to elaborate
I don't think he really fit.
On what both you guys were saying about Jerry. Jerry is going to be him and CeeDee Lamb are going to be great players within their own right, but it's going to take time for them to develop. Year 2, they're going to start taking stride. Year 3, really go for it. But we need it. We're within a window to win now. We need someone with a dominance. They can fit in, plug in right away, like Kinlaw. Kinlaw to us is more beneficial than a receiver. To me, receivers are luxury. They're luxury picks. The people like to have them. They're little toys, fancy little toys that people want to show off. But they're not necessities depending on the system you're running. And with Kyle Shanahan's system, the way he does everything with misdirections and the way he the inner routes, the way he does it, everything, you don't need someone like Jerry Judy, CeeDee Lamb. Now, CeeDee Lamb to me comes a little bit closer to the type of play that Ayuk does than Jerry Judy. Jerry Judy is just a better route runner. But listen, if Shanahan wanted one of those 2 receivers, guys, they would have took him. They were there, available for the taking. They were there. So it wasn't like we could have got Jerry, or maybe we could have got CeeDee Lamb, but they weren't there. They were there. The Niners were not concerned with them. They knew if they can get Kinlaw and then hopefully get someone like Ayuk down the line, they would do that. And they were able to do so. Now we just got to wait and see what's going to take place. Only time will tell. But I agree with Mike. I think that Jerry Judy and CeeDee Lamb are not that far off from Brandon Ayuk. And you guys may sit there and think, well, we don't know what the heck we're talking about. They're not in the same class. We're not talking about the end of the career. We're talking about and the places they're going to be. In other words, let me clarify myself. And the systems they're in. I think personally myself, Shanahan will get more out of Ayuk than the Cowboys will get out of CeeDee Lamb year one. Ayuk will be more productive than CeeDee Lamb. And we can relive this video, and we can talk about that next year at the end of the 20 season. And the same thing with Jerry Jeudy. Even over with it's just the way that Kyle Shanahan uses his receivers and able to call plays for them, man. I think that Ayuk is a perfect fit for what we're doing on offense with the running backs. And just like taking that tight end, did we take him in the 6th round? I don't remember. I think if we took him in the 5th or 6th, but taking that tight end, he's not a catcher. He's not gonna catch. I mean, anybody can catch, but he's not known for catching. He's more known for blocking. He's a great blocker, kind of like a tight end. What's his name? What is he? Fullback. I think they're going to use him more. Don't be surprised if Dwally has a bigger role on this offense in 2020 with George Kittle, having this other cat do more of the dirty work and blocking, which he's good at. And he's also good on special teams. I like the direction the Niners are going. I love what Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, for me, they look at the board and they stick true to the board. They have their players that are on the board and they stick true to the board. They don't let them get sidetracked. They don't let them get thrown off here. They stick to the board. If one of the players they covet are on that board, they're going to take it. And I really believe that Ayuk was definitely on the board that they wanted. They said they were sitting there at 31. People may say, well, why did we trade up? Couldn't he fallen at 31? What guarantee do we have that he would have been there at 31? And you look at the teams who were behind us, they didn't really need receivers, but it doesn't mean they can't trade out. And someone that needs a receiver can trade up and take them. Then I heard rumors, and these are just rumors because it obviously didn't happen, but I heard that Green Bay really wanted him. Green Bay wanted Ayuk.
And Miami.
See? So then I had to step up and take him. So kudos to the Niners for stepping up.
And I'm gonna add this in there too. I think a lot of these fans who are because I have a friend of mine, if he's watching this, man, you know who you are. Not calling you out, you my boy, but I strongly disagree with you. I have a friend of mine who called me today and was like, man, we should have got Jeudy or, Ruggs, Lamb, one of those three when we had them, right? The funny thing is the root of all of those fans who feel that way are basing this on their perception and their logic and ideology that we need, that these guys are number one receiver, go-to guys, and that's what we need. Because the first thing you hear a lot of them say, we hadn't had that type of guy since T.O., right? Okay, So here's the funny thing. The two teams that made the Super Bowl this year had a number one tight end, not a receiver. And they had complementary receivers to that number one tight end. So my point is we already have a number one tight end. We don't need another number one receiver. We need a complementary receiver that can complement that tight end. When you have multiple receivers that can help, or 2 to 3 receivers that can help complement that tight end, you have a great pass attack. Because if you have a big brand name number one receiver, I don't see how that wins Super Bowls. I've seen multiple threats win Super Bowls. You know what I mean? Look at the last 5 years of the Super Bowls. Out of all the teams that have number one receivers like that at this level, whether it be DeAndre Hopkins, whether it be a Odell Beckham, a Julio Jones, how many of them have won Super Bowls in the last 5 to 10 years?
I was going to back you up on that, Mike. I think one of the key reasons we also were targeting a tight end is because we wanted to run more out of a double tight end set. We ran the most play action in the league last year. And we like to give our opponents a run first scheme, like a scheme a look that we're going to run to. Imagine bringing in this Werner in to be a potential run blocker in a run blocking situation, but you, instead of having Kittle tied down to being a run blocker for that particular situation, now you can throw him out in a post with 2 other quick receivers, or it ain't even about burning routes going 15, 20 yards. These little 10-yard routes, there's going to be nobody around them because they're playing so many people in the line. And
Yep.
that play action is going to work beautiful.
And people got to remember too, man, that we got guys like Jared McKinnon coming back. And if McKinnon's healthy, remember he was our premier back before Breida took off, before Mostert, before Tevin Coleman's. Everything was about Jared McKinnon when we got him. And when he'd been injured, those guys ascended and stepped up and they did their thing. So if McKinnon comes back to the McKinnon that we're hoping for, he's going to be another option that we can throw out there in the backfield and run out and make some big plays for us as well. So I think our offense is going to be even better because now we'll be able to utilize Kittle a lot better and maybe his blocking become minimized somewhat if we can use other tight ends to help. So
I'm going to read this. I'm going to read this, man, from the Boston Hater, man. Being the Boston Hater he is.
Boston Hater. What's going on, brother?
Kinlaw wrecked shop right away. He'd better be more consistent than he was in college. He has superstar potential, but he also has bust potential. I hope, this is the funny part, I hope the Florida rah-rah guy is right.
Well, let me tell you something about the Florida rah-rah guy. I'm a lot closer to South Carolina than you are, Boston Hater. And what I do realize is in college, people can say that he's inconsistent, but the funny thing is, man, he didn't have a real great team, okay? He's playing double teams against – if you watch some of these games, like his best game was against UGA, they said, right? I feel like he actually had more good games than UGA. But because they upset Georgia, that got some more attention, right? He was beating double teams on the same Georgia line that had that number 4 pick go to the Giants, okay? He's beating those kind of guys constantly. And he's doing this in a tough conference, which, I mean, is NFL caliber. As you've seen, the SEC represented this year heavily. Hell, LSU by itself had so many picks. He's playing against these caliber of guys, bro. So if anyone says that he disappears or inconsistent, I just think that they have to look at the totality, man, of South Carolina's level of talent was not equal to a lot of that competition he's playing, getting double teamed, having to play physical against those type of guys. Now he has a Bosa and he has a D Ford with him. He didn't have that at South Carolina. So I am saying that I believe he's going to be a year one impact guy. I don't know how long it'll take him to evolve, but by the playoff time, I bet he'll be a whole hell of a lot better as long as he's healthy than he was from the beginning of the year to the end. You damn right he's going to get better every week. I think he's going to be really good, man. I really do.
And real quick, just to bring clarification to Dylan, the reference of Torrey Smith was not a youth that Eric was talking about. He was referring to Jerry Jeudy is more like a Terry Smith, not Brandon Ayuk. So just wanted to bring clarification to that. And you made a very good point there, Mr. Florida. Very good point. But we got to love our boy Nate, the Boston Hater.
Of course, man. I welcome it.
He likes to bring the sauce to the.
That's what the show is all about, man. If we all came on here and said the same exact thing, I mean, what kind of show would that be? We don't argue just for the hell of it, but we all got our different perspectives, and that's great. At the end of the day, we all want to see what's best for our team. So I welcome difference of opinion as long as it's healthy. I love it. And for the record, I see a lot of comments coming about Brandon Ayuk. Eric, just to back him up, Eric was not comparing him to Torrey Smith. He was talking about Jerry Jeudy. So just wanted to make that clear. For me, I think Ayuk looks more like an athletic version of Anquan Boldin, if I had to compare to somebody.
I haven't really watched enough film on him to really, because he was kind of a shocker pick for me.
Right.
I didn't think we were going to go receiver at that spot. Yeah. Because, I don't know, there's so many good ones coming out that I felt like we could have got one later on in the draft. So, I mean, I'll definitely be ready for the next podcast. I'm going to go study on him, and I'll make a comparison then, because I'd be an uneducated guess.
Honestly, I haven't watched that much of him myself. I just went and literally looked him up. I did remember him in the bowl game because I'm a Florida State fan, but I didn't really sit there and watch like all his games. And me personally, I've gotten away from watching highlights because highlights only show the highlights. I want to see the lowlights. I want to see what they do when they're not so good. That's when I really can say, okay, this guy had heart, or this guy plays tough. He had a horrible game, but he made up for it. He blocked. He ran down the field and did the extra work. Like, that means a lot to me. So these guys like Shanahan, man, they putting in work that we aren't, and they're doing countless hours of study. So if they're confident in them, who the hell am I to say, man, I don't like it? I'm confident in them based on their resume and their pedigree of how they've been picking. Anybody got a problem with Ayuk being taken and not Judy, Lamb, or Ruggs? I'm going to ask you one question. How many players have Kyle Shanahan and the Lynch mob drafted that's disappointed you? Give me a ratio. Because I guarantee you there's more successful impact players that they drafted that's done well versus guys that have not done well.
Good point. Good point. And real quick, just I want to we brought in our boy. I think
Boston Hater.
He had enough. He had enough of typing. He wanted to come and speak. So let's bring him in.
Bring him in. We gotta
What's up, Boston Hater?
Bring him out.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah.
I figure you
Boston
gave up on the typing, bro. So you wanted to kind of voice your opinion.
You know, I just got in a little while ago, so I wasn't.
How was your day at work, brother?
Typical. With this whole COVID-19 thing, it's
We're
you got
working with
people-
prima donnas, man. I
people
hear you.
scared to show up, and it's crazy.
I feel you.
There must be half of the Raiders players working there, huh? They're scared to show up.
No, it's the Boston fans that aren't showing up.
There you go. There you go.
Hey, I got a crazy prediction, and I'm gonna let y'all get on with the show, man. I believe that we will win at least 2 or 3 Super Bowls, and I also believe by the time that Ken Law's contract is up, the Raiders will be moving to Japan to be the first international NFL team because they can't stay in one place. They will be the Japan Raiders or the Mexico Raiders. I'm calling it out.
I noticed there's so much on it, but you know what? The Rams have been more placed than the Raiders have. So, if we want to pile on somebody, pile on those trash-ass Rams.
Those same sorry old Rams?
Same old sorry Rams.
I mean, they go from Los Angeles from Cleveland to Los Angeles to Anaheim to St. Louis, back to Los Angeles.
That's true.
That's a lot more than the Raiders have moved. So,
well, I'm just talking about the Raiders right now just because, for the hell of it, because they were picking right before us, and there was some back and forth exchanges. But, yeah, you're right. You're technically right. But go ahead. I just had to take a little stab at the Raiders just for the hell of it.
Well, I hear you. Since we have Mr. Boston Hater, man, and we're going to bring out some controversy here and spice up this show. Tell me why Mr. Jennings is not going to make the roster, man. Number 7 pick, Jennings from Tennessee, the receiver.
Because he's not very good. That's why.
Why is he not good?
Because
he don't play for Boston.
Football. It's not something that you're good at football or you're not. It is kind of an absolute. He's not good at football.
I'm gonna back up.
He's good enough to just get drafted.
Congratulations. I can name you a whole lot of people that can't play football that got drafted.
Look, just watch our last preseason game. As
a matter of fact, wait a minute. Didn't A.J. Jenkins get drafted in the first round? He can't play football.
Don't remind me of that, James.
Hey, you're talking about somebody that got drafted in the 7th round. I can name you a guy that got drafted in the 1st round that can't play. Come on.
Yeah, that was
not hard. I can name more if you like. We can go on. There's a long list. Rashawn Woods. Let me see. We can go on.
I want to hear the answer to this. Go ahead, Eric. Say what you're going to say right now.
I was going to say that there was quite a few players that are probably bagging groceries somewhere after that preseason game last year that we should have been perfect in preseason, but we had to bring in that quarterback to play. I think even Beathard would have won that game. And that's just saying the least.
Okay.
I laugh because these two guys do not believe in preseason games at all. It's taboo. It's just don't mention preseason. It's taboo. Don't matter if a player played very well and showed a lot of promise in a okay. I'm sorry, maybe I'm speaking too much for Mike, but
That's way too much
Nathaniel
practice talk.
doesn't believe
Wait.
in
No,
that too much. Go ahead, Mike.
I am agreeing with Nate as far as the preseason. However, I just have a slightly different perspective on it. I feel my reason of not watching preseason. So anybody who's watching the show for the first time, the reason why I don't put much into preseason is because so many people do. They act as if like if a play is made, this guy is the next this and that, or if we lose all 4 games, we're gonna suck for the season. The Browns have won 4 games and went 0-16. I mean, this happens.
Detroit was
Preseason,
3-1.
yeah, like the preseason is just the preseason. It's a practice. It's an open scrimmage about seeing your rookies going against other rookies and seeing what they can do. They're not playing against first teamers the whole time. First teamers aren't playing out there the whole time. So I just want to make it clear. It's not that I am against everyone who watches preseason. I'm saying for me individually, I'm not a person that believes that preseason has really any merit because people put too much stock into it and it really means nothing. It's been proven it doesn't correlate into the season at all. I mean, it's a practice. But that's just me.
If you're looking at preseason to try to evaluate how good your team's going to be, then that's a waste of time. Absolutely, 100%.
People do it all the time. But
if you like to watch it because you want to see how individual players, cut their breaks, or how they move their hands, and if you just enjoy football like myself and you just want to see how these players that you draft play for your own entertainment, that's fine, I believe. But if you're going to assess how your team's going to be based on what you see in preseason, that's a whole different level. I don't agree with that. That's where I agree with Nate and Florida Mike that you can't, because Cleveland Browns won all 4 of their games and went 0-16. Cowboys are always winning and lose a lot of games in regular season, so you can't go by that. So that 100%. I like to watch it. I just want to see what the individual players do. If you got a corner, is he going to get burned? How good is he covering? Just individual play that I like to watch, but I take it with a grain of salt. I'm not going to hold no water to it. Or like Jillian Hurd caught 2 fades against the Cowboys in the first preseason. Oh my God, he's going to be a Hall of Famer. I'm not saying that. He's not going to be a Hall of Famer based on what he did, but I like that he was able to catch. I mean, at the end of the day, the ball still was thrown up in the air. He had 2 defenders on him. Great. They're not all that good, but he had 2 defenders, and he caught the ball. I like what I saw, but it doesn't mean this guy's going to be great. It doesn't. So I just wanted to clarify on that. But Nate and although I believe Mr. Florida he's okay with watching practice here and there. Nate just no way. Practice
oh my God! Is this
waste of his time.
Has it been an hour? We're talking about practice. God, Mike, what are we doing here? Oh, I should have
Super Bowl, playoffs. Practice. Don't talk to me about no playoffs.
I was thinking of Iverson. Talking about practice. You talking about something that happened in practice?
Who cares? Whether it's a nationally televised practice, a regionally televised practice, it's still practice. Who cares? Practice is for the players. I don't want to see that crap.
But yeah, I agree with y'all. As far as, these coaches obviously see enough in film and game study, like bringing these players in, that they don't need to. They don't really get to game plan like they do a regular season game, so they can't. Without giving away too much of the playbook. So I think preseason is a waste.
Yeah, 20 years as a season ticket holder, I went to 2 preseason games.
Well, I don't go to preseason games. That's all different. Yeah.
One because my boy wanted to go. Other because one of my friends wanted to go. I never go to a preseason game. Yes, and I don't want to watch it. Don't care.
Yeah, I don't mind watching it on TV in the comfort of my couch. As a ticket holder myself, season ticket holder myself, I'll give away my preseason games away to people that normally don't go to games. I have to make. Sometimes I make an exception, like what Nate said. If a family member wants to go, if my niece, cousin wants to go, they don't want to go alone, I'll make an exception for them. But I'm hella bored. I'm more there for the nachos and the hot dogs and whatever, the beer. You know what I mean? More than the game itself. for preseason games. So I agree there. But at home, I like to watch just for the comfort of my home, just to see it. And I don't watch the whole thing either. I just like to, I'm not going to sit there glued at the TV like I am in a regular game.
I don't watch 30 seconds. I can never get that 30 seconds back. That's a waste.
Bro,
No,
you had ignorant critics sit here and criticize Garoppolo one of those
Here we
preseason
go.
games, and I'm like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? It has no merit. Had nothing to do with the season. Stupid.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like all the interceptions they threw, it just showed that our secondary was good. Our secondary was good. Our pass rush was good. And Garoppolo, you can't assess what takes place in preseason and assume that that's going to be either the good or the bad in a regular game. You can't. You just can't. So you got to take it with a grain of salt. You just got to take it for. To me, preseason is just entertainment. To the fact of it doesn't really matter. They're all vanilla. There's no play calling. There's no strategies. There's nothing. Not even in the third week of preseason what people like to call the rehearsal of the regular game. That's still a bunch of crap. There's no rehearsal. Players play a little bit longer, but there's still no calls. There's no game planning.
So with
the coaches are not supposed.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
With the format this year, they reduced the preseason to 1 to 3 weeks now, right?
No, 2021.
Oh, 2021. So it's still 4 weeks then?
Everything's the same as it has been this year.
Playoffs changed this year.
Oh, does it?
Yes.
Oh, so the two teams. Okay, so that okay.
That's why I'm asking, because we got so how many? Let's backtrack.
16
how many
games,
weeks?
16 games.
Okay, so it's still 16 games. The only thing changes the playoff.
Yes.
Okay.
Just two teams come in.
Okay. So had the playoff format this year been last year, we would have had 3 teams from the NFC West in the playoffs, probably, right?
True. Yes, the Rams would have made.
The Rams would have made it in.
So
it would have been the Rams and the Steelers for the AFC.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting, because I believe once again we have the toughest division in football.
I believe I can fly.
And
sorry,
I think that this year, a lot. I don't know what you guys think, man, but and the fans too, y'all chime in on this. Assuming San Francisco and Seattle healthy, everybody's healthy, and San Francisco, Seattle are going to make the playoffs. What about Arizona? Do you think that this year they might creep up in there as a wild card, or do you?
No. They're heading in the right direction. I like what they're heading. I like what they're doing.
I mean, some people are really giving them a lot of praise right now. They thinking if the Rams did it, maybe Arizona could turn it around and be better than the Rams.
I wouldn't surprise.
They would be better than the Rams. The Rams.
Oh yeah.
Just by subtraction, they're better than the Rams.
Yeah. The Rams are going the opposite direction. Yeah. I don't know what the hell they're doing.
Well, I'm talking about the Rams from last year, like their success from last year, not this year's Rams. I'm saying how the Rams had a winning record, but wasn't really.
So,
I got you.
2020 Arizona Cardinals are better than the 2019 Rams.
They're projected to be better.
I'm saying the record could be good enough to get in, and they might not be better, but their record could be better. In terms of like the schedule, because Arizona is going to be playing. Where did they finish in the division? Was it 4th, right?
Yep.
Okay, so they're going to be playing the last place teams. They're going to be playing the last place teams.
It doesn't change a whole lot. You're only talking about 2 games.
I'm asking the question. So
you're only talking about 2 games.
I don't know their full schedule in terms of who they're playing.
Let me just put this out, because all schedules are the same. When you say last place schedule, you're only talking about 2 games, because everybody's schedule goes like this. We have to play the AFC East and the NFC East, right? And it doesn't matter what place you in. You got to play all 4 of the teams in the NFC.
No. Let me clarify. I'm talking about, like I said, the spot. Since remember when I just asked where did they finish at? I'm not talking about the division. I get the division. I'm talking about what team in the division.
Doesn't matter. The bottom line is you have to play all 4 of the teams in the NFC and AFC East. That's 8 games. You got to play the 3 teams in your division twice. That's 6 more games. 8 and 6, that's 14. We're only talking about 2 games that matter, that are different from, our schedule from the schedule of the Rams, Arizona. And if you look at all those teams, there's only 2 different games. That's it. So it's not a big difference. The variance is very small.
Well, it's a big difference in our division because you're acting like the Rams from last year is this year, which they're not going to be. They're descending. It's going to be a big difference with the AFC East because Tom Brady's not there anymore. So I'm saying there will be differences in terms of who they're playing.
There's no difference in we're playing the same 14 games that they are.
We're
There's
not
no
playing the
difference.
same quality of teams from last year this year is what I'm saying. I don't care about
Okay.
we're playing the
Okay.
same teams. I'm talking about the
Yeah.
same
Okay.
quality of teams.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Real quick, just throw another curveball in there. Anybody want to answer Paul? And welcome, Paul. I think this is Paul's first time with the Niners Figures podcast. Welcome,
What's
brother.
up, Paul?
We appreciate you. But I'm curious what you guys have to answer to this. He says his question is or comment is in the Super Bowl, if we kept running the ball at the 6-minute mark, we would have had the lead. Coach made the call to pass. What's your thoughts on that?
Wrong.
No, we wouldn't have.
This is not
Clarify,
Wakanda.
please.
This is not Wakanda either. This is an X.
Right on.
You want me to elaborate? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah. Because he's asking a question. You're saying that it's wrong, which is fine. But why is it wrong?
Because the box was loaded, and if you look at this game when they were loading the box, we were not having the success against them that we were having against the Green Bay or a Minnesota running the ball. So the obvious answer in those situations was to pass. Let's not get it twisted. Kansas City was very fortunate. Those tip balls, there were wide open guys on the other side of those tip passes that would have been easy first down conversions.
Yeah.
It's not that the play call was bad. It was just dumb luck that they happened to tip a pass. And as a matter of fact, both
At a
the
crucial
passes
time,
that were
yeah.
tipped on third downs were both guys that were blocked well. I mean, it was well blocked. The guy was yards away from the line of scrimmage. He was stoned. But he jumped up and made good play. So you got to tip their hat to that. But had it not been for those plays, the plays were not covered. The plays were well schemed. You know, dumb luck that the lineman was able to get their hands on the ball because they had him beat. Yeah. So the call was.
I'm gonna follow up with
You-
Go ahead.
And also
Okay,
there was
what
some
was that,
opportunity.
Eric?
I was going to follow up with him. There was a couple of opportunities where Jimmy just missed when he didn't see the. There was a couple of times where Kittle was wide open. He didn't have time. He may have been under duress. He didn't see him to throw them the ball. I mean, there was opportunities there. We just didn't execute. I don't think it had anything to do with not running the football because there was times where we ran it great in the first half of the game, but it wasn't. The opportunities weren't there in the second half. We started to pass the ball a lot better. We had a little bit of misdirection.
They adjusted. Yeah, there's always the what is. If we would have this, if we would have did that. I do agree with both of you guys, and I do agree that there was a lot of dumb luck on their side. If those plays wouldn't have been tipped, we would have been talking a whole different conversation today. It just happened to be a fluke, and it was against us. And those things happen in football. It does. As much as you don't like it, especially when it happens against your team. You're at that part of the end of the stick. You don't like it, but it does happen. You get those fluke plays, and I think that's what happened. But those calls that Shanahan was making were working, man. They're definitely working, but just a couple of plays here and there that if that tip ball didn't get tipped, it would have been an easy first down. A lot of things would have changed from that perspective. So it's really hard to say. I mean, it is. We lost, and it is what it is. They won, and they deserve to win. They played better, or they had a better day than we did at the end of the day, whether they played better or not. And it is what it is, man. But I think we can come back, and I think I think John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan definitely have the mindset of coming back and going back to another Super Bowl and trying to win that chip, man. I know that they know they can get there. They know the formula, how to do it. They're going to emphasize on it, and they're going to try to do better to get there. And I think we have the opportunity to get there. I mean, it's going to be harder. Definitely. If anybody is going to find out the hard way, it's going to be stinky Tom Brady. How hard it is to get to the Super Bowl on the NFC side instead of the AFC. It's not going to be a roller coaster ride like the AFC. So he's gonna get a rude awakening. on this side how hard it is to get there. But he'll find out. What do you guys think? Do you think he's gonna get a rude awakening in Tampa Bay?
Well, I mean, rude in what respect? I mean, he's probably
It's
not going
not
to
gonna
make the
be,
playoffs. Definitely not going to win the division. So,
and he's used to all of that in New England.
yeah.
That's what I mean by rude awakening. He's gonna realize, oh shit.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like the East in basketball. The Conference is easier.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I
It's an
mean?
easier road to the championship.
Yeah, LeBron James came to the Lakers. He's finding out, shit, it's not that as easy on this side than it is when he was playing with Cleveland or Miami.
Yeah.
So, although they were doing good this year, but we won't talk about that. But yeah, so you know what I mean. So, but very good question, Paul. Nevertheless, good question. Thank you for sharing that question. I appreciate it, man. So that's what we're here for. We're not always going to agree with your questions, and we're going to give you our reasons why we agree or disagree with you. But we do love your comments, man. So keep bringing those comments in. Let's see here. Dylan God says, I thought we were going receiver again at 31 for sure. We did go receiver,
Well,
just not
it was
31.
25, but yeah.
Yeah, so we definitely went receiver. So your thought process was right. It's just we went up 6 spots instead of staying at 31. And I don't know about what you guys think about this. A lot of people are upset that we gave up the 4th pick, which, yes, it belonged to us. But to me, it's house money.
No
House
such
money.
thing.
We never had it to begin with.
No such thing. Yeah, that's like saying that, we traded this guy away and we got these people's picks. So then in that case, the Javon Kinlaw pick was house money in that respect. No. When you make that choice and you get that capital for the move you make, it is now yours and you do the best with it you can. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have a problem with the players we got. I'm not high on the process, though. Huh?
The hell?
Okay.
All right, well,
I'm just.
thank you for
I
your
was
opinion.
looking at this Cashew Esparza thing that kind of caught me off guard. That's what I was.
No, that's what I'm reading.
me
That's
too.
what I read too. Sorry, threw me off guard too. But everybody, they're entitled to their opinion. That's fine. Doesn't mean we have to agree. But am I reading it right or am I reading it wrong?
You're reading it right.
I'm.
Am I supposed to get offended or not to get offended?
I mean, if we get that comment any limelight, honestly,
I
it's
don't-
open to interpretation. I don't
I
think
don't
it's
know what the
it's kind of like all put together. I don't know what.
I don't really know what to think of that because it doesn't
Just-
really. It's
Says
kind of
F. Dory
It's
Smith,
chopped.
okay.
Niner Signal. I'll let you all have the stage tonight while this Niner Empire 408 observes the show.
Okay.
Well, no, I don't think he's talking negative.
No, he wasn't talking.
I think he's just talking negative about.
Yeah,
I
maybe
can
he's
see
not
he
a
doesn't
fan
like
of
Torrey Smith.
Torrey Smith really.
Okay, no, I just want to make sure I read it right. So I don't want to
Yeah.
disrespect no one or.
Torrey Smith
Misinterpreted.
really didn't
So-
do much for the Niners, so I could see any Niner fan feeling that way.
Cool,
'Cause there was-
cool. So
I
I
interpret
definitely-
this as beef with Tory.
Yeah, he definitely did.
I thought you were
Nah,
talking
nah.
about me back in the 90s.
Yeah, he definitely did
it's
some,
me. I think he said like F. Torrey Smith and Niner
Nah.
Signal.
It's just
that was
jumbled
the way I
all up
read it,
together.
sorry.
But at the end of the day, if you read it,
Yeah, I think we deciphered it. I'm pretty sure, and I'm sure if we didn't, he will clarify it.
Okay, so I won't cry.
I'm pretty sure.
nah, man, he sound like he's going at Torrey Smith because he's like, I'm gonna observe. So based on his ending statement, he's saying, hey, I'm gonna still watch the show, but F Torrey Smith, he got his how you feel about Torrey Smith out.
Gotcha. I don't like Torrey Smith. I mean, I felt bad for his brother, but that's about it.
Yeah. I know it's a
My
little off
extension
topic,
of it.
but what do y'all think about Prescott's brother?
That's
That's
sad,
kind of crazy.
man. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh yeah. And then I heard somebody's father died too. A player that got drafted, father passed away. So there was a lot of.
There's a lot of
craziness
fathers,
in
man.
3D draft.
That was like tragically killed, man. It was crazy. Like one was struck by lightning, I heard, and another struck by a car. All kind of stuff, man.
Yeah, yeah. His dad. I know what you're talking about. His dad stumbled out in the traffic or whatever
Yeah,
and
something.
got hit by a car.
Yeah.
I've seen that.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Sad.
I just hope this virus don't affect our football season. Like I'd like to be able to go to a game this year. I don't want it to be to where they're playing in empty stadiums. That'd be kind of crazy.
Oh,
Yeah, that's going to be it's going to be kind of weird.
Christian cut it.
I'm pretty sure they'll manage if that's the case. Just the way we manage the draft, I'm pretty sure we'll go through it if we have to. But hopefully we don't get to that point. But I would love to have the Niners play at Seattle with no fan base. You don't have to hear those idiots in the background. So that'll be that or New Orleans.
Some neutral field status right there.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna have
Those
to try to
stupid
make it out
12 man.
there this year, man.
Do you recall, Beto? Is the Saints game this year a home or away game?
It's a away game. We're playing in New Orleans again.
Okay. So that means that poor Green Bay gets to come on back.
Oh, Green Bay's getting us in California again, yeah. Yeah. And then especially with all the picks they got this, I mean, I don't know what the heck. I don't know if they're in a rebuild mode or they're confused or what direction they're going now. Because they went quarterback, running back. But I do know this. I was talking to a Packer fan, and he's telling me that we kicked their ass so bad in the run game that they're trying to go from pass to more of a running team to try to compete with other teams, trying to take a page out of our playbook.
Their best lineman is gone, and they're not doing anything to address that offensive line, but they want to.
Well, they took a guard. They took a guard in the sixth round.
They did take a lineman.
They took a guard when?
Sixth round.
You had Dave
opportunity to get one and give
Dave
one.
Bakhtiari as your left tackle, who's one of the best left tackles in the game, and you couldn't protect Aaron Rodgers with him, and you're going to tell me about a guard?
And now that Terry R is gone,
without him for sure.
Yeah,
well, they got A-Rod and Jalen.
Yeah, they're gonna need more than that.
Yeah, so now they got AJ Dillon, that running back, with so I don't know what they're doing back there, but all I know they're gonna come. Like one guy told me that this is a Packer fan. He tells me he writes me, he goes, hey, so if we don't play with fans, I guess you guys would be used to it because you guys have no fans at your stadiums from 2000 to 2018, making a joke out of it. I told him, well, I guess we're pros at it and we'll be fine, but whether we have fans or not, we'll still kick the shit out of you guys. Yeah. He didn't coming back.
Yeah, and I don't know where you get that. All you got to do is look at the go in and look at the attendance records. They speak for themselves.
Yeah, no, he was just being sarcastic. Because what it is, and people don't realize, is that part of the stadium in Levi's, there's a lot of sun that hits in a real hot day. So a lot of the fan bases, they instead of sitting in their seats, they walk in the hallways and they where the shade is. So when the camera shoots to a certain point, there's a lot of seats that are empty. But it's not because the fan base is not there. It's just too damn hot to sit there and watch the game, and I believe they go off of that. But it's funny when teams don't know, when other fan bases don't know about other teams, that the comments they make. That one Minnesota guy, I'm gonna mention his name, said that we were they were talking about when we came up to the draft, and they were trying to figure out what position we needed. And I'm listening. I didn't respond, but they're like, "Yeah, I think the Niners, they lost D Ford, so I think they're in the rebuild mode."
They lost D Ford.
And they said we were in a rebuild mode.
You meant Defoe?
Defoe, yeah, Defoe. Sorry, yeah.
I
said it wrong. They said it right. But still, they said that we were in a rebuild mode because we lost DeForest Buckner, and I'm like, if you're gonna talk shit,
let's put it this
way.
What
you're talking.
I like that.
My personal opinion.
Because my response, I would have responded. I would have said, well, it's not going to help you stop our offense. Defoe being gone, not going to help you stop our offense.
Well, I did post a picture of Trent Williams in their group stating that if you couldn't stop our run before, good luck trying to do it now. now that we have Trent Williams, which personally I think he's a better blocking tackle than even Joe Staley.
He's a better tackle altogether than Joe Staley.
I know, but I'm trying to be polite to Joe Staley.
Yeah, I mean, it's no slight.
But
to
he's an
Staley
upgrade.
That he's better than him. I mean, it doesn't mean that Joe Staley was bad. Joe Staley was very good, but just because there
But
are
he's definitely an upgrade. So if we imagine the way we run the ball with Staley, what we're going to do with Trent, I like the idea. So real quick, now that I brought him up, just for the fan base, we have a lot of viewers watching right now, and I appreciate every viewer for watching and being part of our Niner Sickness podcast. So you guys are awesome. Let's talk about Trent Williams, and I want to get your guys' thought. I know me and Mike and Eric talked about it a little bit, but having you now here at Bostonator, what's your thought? I mean, isn't that a beautiful thing that we're blessed? You can say that we went from a Hall of Fame left tackle of Joe Staley retiring, and we got the opportunity to get a Hall of Fame replacement and Trent Williams. But I want to elaborate on this, and I want you guys to respond to this. Isn't it beautiful how much John Lynch has such a good relationship and rapport with other people that he's able to talk to these different owners and GMs? The reason for what I heard, Trent wanted to come to us, but we got him because Ron Rivera was good friends with John Lynch. As we all know, Daniel Snyder hates the Shanahans, doesn't want nothing to do with the Niners. But I'm pretty sure Rivera going there and taking control told him, "This is you gave me the reins. You're going to let me run with this. I'm going to do best for the team." But because of that relationship with John Lynch, we were able to get him, and I really believe we got him for a really good deal. A third next year and a fifth this year.
We stole him.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's not the going rate for a one of the better
a
left
Pro Bowl,
tackles.
a Pro Bowl left tackle.
Yeah, one of the better left tackles in football.
Well, Minnesota wanted him, and Minnesota offered more than we did, but he didn't want to go to Minnesota.
No, he said, "I'm not going to Minnesota." Straight up.
He goes, "I already dealt with Cousins in Washington. I don't want to deal with that idiot."
Well,
Minnesota.
He basically forced their hand. He had two teams that he was interested in, and he wasn't going to waver. And basically by saying that I won't play for anyone else, forced their hand and basically drove down his value at that as far as what you could get in trade for him.
In other words, he stuck it to the Redskins, and I love it.
And you know what? Deservedly so, because they could have taken care of him the right way last year.
Yeah, especially going with the cancer and everything he was dealing with. Yeah, I agree. I heard he had cancer. Yeah, he had cancer. He said it himself. I had cancer. He's in remission now, but he needed time off, whatever, and Redskins did not support him.
Yeah, that was there was a thing about, he said that their doctors were trying to force the issue and make him go back on the field when he wasn't right. And I didn't know he was talking about cancer, but
yeah, it's cancer that he was talking about. Yeah, it's crazy because a Redskin fan brought it to my attention, and I thought he was talking shit. And I told him, "Hey, man, whether you're disappointed that he left your team or not, wishing cancer on somebody is just a shitty thing to do." He's like, "No, Niner Sickness, I'm not." And he sent me an article, and I read it. I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I read it, so I'm like, "Okay," but they didn't take care of him, and I forgot who the GM was that fired him. This guy told me they fired the GM. They fired pretty much everybody, and then letting Rivera run it. But that organization was bad for so many years now.
Oh yeah,
they didn't treat their players with respect. They didn't care for their players. So that's why Trent Williams didn't want to play. He did not play in 2019 because of that.
And that was the deal with the helmet last year, because he had an operation on his head. I can't remember the whole details. I'll have to look and find, but something about the discomfort in the helmet was one of the issues that he was having.
But he's well rested. He's fine now. He's healthy though, right? He had a whole year off, which is good. If you think about it, it's beneficial for us. He's fresh legs, man. He's not coming. I don't know. I don't think a veteran like him. I don't think he's going to lose that much in having a year off. What do you guys thoughts on that?
Mhm.
I don't believe he'll miss something. I mean, it's just like if he was sick. It's like being injured. You know, you miss a year because you're injured. Well, no, what if he'd have ripped up a knee?
Okay, good point. Very valid point there, Nate. Yeah, good point. Players that they're off for the year, they come back and bounce the next year. So yeah, I hear you. That's a very good point. But yeah, so what do you guys thought on was it a good decision on our part to getting him?
I don't know. I'm about to pick on Richard right now because he says, I think Arizona will be our Rams. I know that's a typo, but I'm still going to mess with you. They're not our Rams, Richard. They might be yours,
Ooh, yeah.
but they're not
Don't say
our
our.
Rams.
I know what he meant. I know what he. Yeah, I hear you. You know what? But I do like, and I'm not going to talk too highly. This is not the Cardinals show, so I'm not going to elaborate too much on the Cardinals. But I do like the direction they're heading. But I still they have a young coach, an unproven commodity there. They haven't won anything really. But I like the direction they're going.
And
That linebacker they got.
Nice
Say that again?
linebacker.
Yeah.
Terrible defense. He ain't going to be enough.
No, and I wasn't referring to Simmons as the linebacker that I was talking about. They got another linebacker that is pretty good. I forgot his name, but you're right. There's a lot of holes still. I think though I still think they can finish third in the West, and the Rams will finish fourth. But I don't think they'll be better than the Seahawks. I think with Russell Wilson back there, and you know who's going to win the division this year again? It's going to be us. So it's going to be Niners, Seahawks, Cardinals, and Rams. But they're definitely trending in the right direction.
Yeah, the Seahawks aren't going to go away. They're going to be nipping at our heels the whole way.
And they gave us fits already.
Yeah.
So
hey, we're talking about inches.
Yeah. It's not like we dominated those games. You know what I mean? So yeah, we let them creep in. Although there was a bad tackling in the one where wasn't in. Caught the ball. I forgot the receiver, the rookie receiver, caught the ball and ran it. For 60 yards, was it?
DK
for a
Metcalf.
touchdown. Yeah, that was kind of no. I'm talking about the Cardinals.
What is that dude's name? He was from
You're talking about
small school.
He was a rookie. He was picked up last year. I mean, not Amendola.
Definitely not Amendola.
No, but kind of like that style.
It's
yes,
kind of.
I said Amendola because I'm thinking about that. I'm looking at his stature, but anyway, that kid, whoever that kid is, he
straight out fast though. I mean,
he was fast, and then we kind of got we got stuck with our hands in the cookie jar. And
I forget his name.
If somebody knows what we were talking about, bring it up in the comments.
His name will come back to me when I'm not thinking about it. Hopefully, somebody got his name.
Dylan says he agrees with you, Hater.
About what?
You got to be more specific, though, because Nate's all over the place. Richard Bryan says it's fresh year, fresh start. True. You're not an undercover Cardinals fan, are you? No, just kidding.
No.
Let's get past.
He said our Rams. Of course, he's not a Cardinals fan.
Oh no! I meant to say undercover Rams. Our Rams. I'm messing with you, Richard. What's the question here? We were allowed to, but I'm over it and ready to get this season going and get back to the bowl for a W. I agree with you. I'm ready, man. I'm ready. Do you guys think that based on what we're seeing now, we're gonna? I know the OT is not gonna take place, but do you think we'll start in September, or do you think we might have to push to October?
I don't know. I have no idea.
It's a tough one, I know.
It's way too far away.
True. So right now will be OTAs taking place if everything would have been normal, right?
Yeah.
OTAs or organized. Yeah, that's organized crime saying OTAs. But hey Benson, how you doing, bro? My boy, this guy here is hella cool guy. He's a Minnesota fan, but he keeps it real. The year that Jimmy Garoppolo played, even though we lost to the Minnesota Vikings that year in Minnesota, he said he didn't know too much about Garoppolo, but he saw Garoppolo play his team, and he had great praise for him based on what he saw of him. So, but I like this guy. This guy's pretty honest. So I don't know if he's still here, Kyle, but if you are, man, much love, brother. Thank you for joining our show. Richard says, do you guys think that we're an improved team? Oh, I think 2020 teams is better than the 2019 personally.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
Also,
Mhm.
I think we have more experience. I don't think that Defoe is going to be missed that much. I think Kinlaw can just go in there and take his spot. I don't think it hurt us that much. Coach Kocurek, second year running this front line. Our Greenlaw coming back in the second year with more confidence. Adding Debo, having more confidence to be that possible number one this year, which I think he's striving to. And bringing Uke, see what he does. And then George Kittle. I just think that we can definitely have a better year in 2020 than we did in 2021 with the personnel.
A better team, but not necessarily a better record.
No, not a better record, just a better team.
Okay,
I think better
I want to clarify that.
I might agree with that. I think
I think
my
we'll
biggest
lose
thing
more games.
is if we were healthier, we're a better team. You know, having these 16 guys that were on IR when we played in the Super Bowl didn't help. So,
No, I agree.
You know, our depth was really compromised as the year went forward, and we did a lot of working without guys throughout the year because we were compromised, and we still did a very good job. So we could very well be an improved team if we stay healthy. Now, if we don't, we could actually easily be worse.
Oh yeah, I mean injuries
No matter
always
what,
dictate
Yeah.
which direction we're going. But
And
I do like a healthy Trent, Taylor coming back.
Yeah,
Watching
we've had a
him
lot of bad luck with injuries ever since the Shanahan Lynch era has begun. We've been in real bad shape with injuries every year.
Yeah, the injury bug is really. You think that I don't know. It's
As bad as it's been, it has to get better.
there you go. That's what I was trying to get at.
Alone, just luck. We got luckier than to have so many injuries. You know, we had more injuries in 2019 than we had in 2018. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, we had a lot of people on IR, man. That's it's and then having you bring in free agents like McKinnon that never even gets to play because of injury.
Yeah,
it's tough. Both years, yeah, it's tough. And then you lose out in the first year, and then you're looking in anticipation for that. That's why this year, I'm not even thinking of him. I'm not even worried about what he's going to do. If he plays great, I learned that mistake already. Because year one, I was disappointed he got hurt. I was looking at for year two. I was anticipating for year two. I was excited, and he didn't play. So
how crazy was that? It was the last snap of the last practice before the first game.
Yep.
The last play of practice.
Talk about a fluke, man. I feel bad for the kid. I mean, not too bad. I mean, shit, he made good money for not really doing nothing. But in a playing perspective, being competitive, I feel bad for him.
Ayuk is better than Sanders? Oh, stop it. Come on.
I think we were better than last season. Ayuk.
Yeah, I'm not going there with you. Williams is
with due respect, it's hard to say that, and I agree with Nate. Only for the fact is, as great promise that Ayuk may have in percent, he hasn't played a down in the NFL. Sanders has played already, good or bad. He's played. He's established himself in the NFL. When you get a player, I don't care how good they are, before they play in the NFL, you can't say they're better than someone that's already played in the NFL. Just my opinion, my thoughts on that. He might have a better ceiling, and maybe at the end of his career can be played better than Sanders. I'll play Sanders, maybe, but no way he's better than him right now.
Because you know what?
He's not even better. He's not even better than Kendrick Bourne.
I can name you a whole lot of players with a higher ceiling than Emmanuel Sanders that never got there.
Oh yeah, true that. Yeah.
So as much as I would love to run with you at that one, Dylan, I can't go there. With Williams, I'm I'm there with you. I'm right there with you.
What's going on, Mike? You're kind of quiet over there, man.
Well, I mean, hey, I'm not gonna interrupt the flow of the show, brother. You know, especially man with the comments coming in, and I see that some of them are saying things, and you guys had a flow. So me and Eric on the sideline right now, man. We didn't want to interrupt the flow.
We'll get in the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Get in the game,
Hey, you
brother.
got to call a timeout so we can get in. We can't come in
Gotcha,
while y'all
No,
got
we
gotcha.
good.
y'all got the
Bring in
running
the
offense, man.
reserves.
Call a
But real
timeout so
quick,
we can come in.
real quick, what happened? I don't know the specifics of what happened, but overall, his brother passed away. I don't know the specifics. I can't get
He
into it. I don't know.
he committed
But he
suicide.
passed.
Whoa.
He what?
Oh
He
wow!
committed suicide.
Whoa.
Committed suicide?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, that's tough, man. Yep. Maybe he'll go through it. No, leave it alone. Leave it alone now. Leave it alone.
But Solomon Thomas dealt with that too with his family. So
Well, that's that's the direction I was
That's
going to go.
exactly
I was
where
making,
Beto was going.
yeah, exactly. But I left it alone because it's a touchy issue.
Yeah.
I'm leaving it alone.
Come
I'm
on,
in
Beto.
Austin, Texas, and I will be in the game in Dallas. Was last time we played there too and beat them in game 1 of the season. I remember that game. It was an intercept. I love that fumble, and who was the corner that picked it up and ran it in for a touchdown? Let's see if you guys remember. So the Niner game when we beat them, and we had Alex Smith quarterbacking. Was it Alex Smith? I think it was Alex Smith.
Was it Culliver?
Oliver, yeah. Oh, the racist. Yeah, him.
Yeah.
He did a good play though. That was a good play. I like the way he looked down and seen on the floor. He's like, "Oh, okay, I'll take it," and ran with it.
That was a
kinda
nine takeover that game.
I went to the
Yes, that's a good point, Mike. Very good point. That they showed videos. People show videos and everything. Man, the red and gold was everywhere. Beautiful.
Those same Dallas fans were talking about Niners not showing up to games because when Dallas came to San Francisco, they were talking about how they were Dallas fans more than ours out in Levi, but yet there were actually more Niner fans in Dallas. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like I just thought it was ironic because there's literally nine clips of Niners taking over Dallas. You see more red than anything.
Real quick, I know that
Exactly.
the Raiders take over the Cowboys thing when they play there as well. The fan base, there's more fan base of the Raiders than the damn Cowboys. The Cowboys can just shut up and watch Jerry Jones put dollar bills on the young girls. Christian, what's up, Carver? How you doing, brother? I was baffled that Green Bay didn't draft a receiver. Yeah. They probably didn't get permission. From the owner. Because man, I don't know what they were thinking there, man. I really don't know what they're thinking. But they're like, instead of getting Rodgers out, let's get his replacement. Here you go, Rodgers. Merry Christmas. Oh man. Hey, well, how you doing, brother? I think it's your first time here. I don't recognize your name. I don't know how to pronounce your first name. So I'm not even gonna attempt. Shonil. Okay. I wasn't sure, man, but I've done it in the past where I totally screwed it up, and I don't want to do that. Come on. I think we did very well in the draft. We beefed up that O-line. Yeah, we definitely did. We definitely did that. You want to elaborate on that, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, we did. We got a Pro Bowler, and then we even drafted another tackle. So, and I mean, the O-line was my biggest thing. If you go back to the previous shows, you always heard me talk about getting that O-line situated straight to give Garoppolo max protection as best as we can, and I'm glad we did.
Yeah, and it's true. Everything's within the trenches, and that's the mentality they have. The trenches of the defensive side,
man.
And now they're doing it on the offensive side. Protect the quarterback and go after the quarterback.
That's it. That's a simple formula, man. You get that front seven loaded, keep that loaded, and then keep that O-line loaded. Everything else is take care of itself from there.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, I agree. I mean, personally, right now, the best offensive line is the Cowboys, but we're not that far behind it now.
I
We're
think
pretty
that.
close. I can't wait to see what we're going to do offensively, man. It's going to be awesome,
I think Dallas
especially with
is
the
trending.
especially with the addition of Jennings in the 7th round. We're going to be very explosive. I'm just kidding. Oh shit! I can't even say that with a straight face. I like the kid though. I don't know nothing about him, but I like him. He
I think,
smiles very well.
but I think Dallas is
I don't know
trending
nothing
down.
about him, but I like him.
What
He
Eric say? What Eric
smiles. You see
say?
his
What Eric
smile?
say? What Eric say?
I said I
What
think
is
Dallas.
there?
I think everybody always says Dallas is offensive line, but I think Dallas is on the trend down. If you look at their defense, they lost so much. They lost their Pro Bowl center. They can't even sign their quarterback, but they gave a receiver $100 million contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're on the way. I think they're on the way down, and Jerry Jones is going to sink that team.
Yeah. And they need a lot of help on defense, and they went on offense with CeeDee Lamb. I'm like, instead of taking that pass rusher from LSU, they took CeeDee Lamb. So, but that's good though. We don't care about them.
Yeah, we don't care.
Trent Williams was the great pickup. Yes, he was. I was actually shocked when I heard it. To be honest with you, I forgot he was on the trading mark. I totally forgot about him.
Yeah.
Totally forgot about him.
Usually a Redskin would be off limits to us.
Yeah, that's another. Yeah, very good point, Nate. Very good. That's probably why I didn't even think of him in my mind. Because you're right. I don't care how good of a player. If he comes from the Redskins, our chances of getting him not very well.
I thought they were going to get a first or second for him, honestly.
That's what they wanted.
If they would have done it last year, they would have got it.
Yeah, because I was y'all heard me saying that Washington was going to trade back into the second with Trent Williams, but it didn't happen.
Andy Isabella, that's the one.
See, I said I sent a message and I said Isabella. I just couldn't remember his first name.
Yeah.
Well, close enough. Ron was respect for Kyle. That why I think Ron gave Redskins GM permission to give us Trent Williams. Well, isn't Ron Rivera the GM as well?
I think
he's their GM and coach.
Yeah, I don't know that they have a GM. I thought he was the guy.
I think he is the coach. So yeah, he gave himself permission. He gave himself permission to what do you call it? Double personality. Hey, should we do this? Yeah, let's do it. Okay, let's do it. I know you're messing with me. It's all good. I meant Arizona will beat out the Rams. No, we knew. We're just giving you a little bit of their
undercover Ram fan.
Yeah,
Cardinal.
Yeah, I even prefaced it with saying I know it's a typo, but I'm going to mess with you anyway.
When the Koch family wins 3 jerseys, we got to give you a little bit of hard time. Just kidding. That was amazing, man. That's pretty cool.
It was way out.
It was nice that we had 2 families actually going at it. But the one family got it over the other, man. One family was better than the other in that day. We're gonna have to do it again so the other family gets a chance. Welcome, my friend Gonzalez Jr. So as we're gonna be cutting it down and towards the end of the show. So I just want to give you guys the platform to let us know how overall, man. Each of you guys would answer one by one, and I'll answer at the end. What are your thoughts? Your personal thoughts of what took place in this draft. What are your likes and dislikes about it? And we're going to start with Eric, go to Nate, then Mike, and then myself. So, what are you taking out of this draft personally for yourself? And what do you like and dislike about it?
The things that I like is the potential, the players that we brought in. We know that we were unproven a receiver outside of Debo. I don't count Kittle because Kittle is just he's a hybrid. He can play if you want to line him up in receiver, you can play him in receiver. But at the end of the day, we need somebody else besides Kittle to make plays. Debo came on late, so I do like the idea that we went out and got Brandon Ayuk with the 25th pick. The key watch-outs is going to be the later picks. And only giving up a third for somebody of caliber of Trent Williams if he can produce. There's a lot of high ceiling choices that we've made, and it's actually one of the most exciting things that we've had to witness in these years that Lynch and Shanahan has gone through. Uh, the downers is we've had very little picks. They talked about usually teams build through the draft and continue to build, and obviously we're going to lose some players going forward. We can't keep everybody going into next year, a year after. So, maintaining a dynasty, you have to continue to draft well. And when you don't have that many picks, it's hard to do that. So that's my downer.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Good. Let's see what Nate has to say. Go ahead, Nate.
What I noticed this year more so than any of their other years, they're actually swinging for the fences, which they have never done before. All right. They didn't have a lot of picks, but look at the guys that they chose. You
Yeah.
chose guys that have some question marks, but have some high ceiling, like all pro ceilings. So basically, they were going after guys that they thought could, be superstar hits. It takes stones to make those kind of moves. It's going to be really interesting to see how they work because you got guys that definitely in Ayuk and uh, man, why am I forgetting? I'm forgetting the guy from South Carolina's name now. The tackle.
Kinlaw.
Kinlaw. There we go. They got some really high ceiling, low floor kind of potential. I mean, you could get there's some real boom and bust potential between those two, and that's not usually where they go. They usually try to go in a safe zone. This guy is he could be good, but we're gonna make sure that he's at least decent. A lot of their picks are like that. Guys like McGlinchey. McGlinchey probably wasn't gonna bust. He was gonna be pretty good regardless. When you went after Bosa, didn't really have high bust. He didn't
Go
have
ahead.
high
Go ahead.
bust
Keep talking.
potential. He was likely to play well. His only potential for bust was really injury. So I mean, they really did a lot of going for high reward kind of things, and then pulling off that trade that they pulled to get the tackle and upgrade there. That's a lot.
Yeah, very good point. Very good point. Very good point. Sorry, I made you solo, so I brought you up to the camera by yourself. I know that throws you off a little
Okay,
bit.
I didn't know what happened. I was like,
Yeah, yeah. I was just giving you the floor. In other words, nobody was. It was just you on the camera.
yeah, and
So
I'm actually, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what happens and how this goes. I mean, we have the potential to be a better team. I mean, and one of the things that makes it that way is that we were young. And a lot of the guys that we have on our team are ascending. They're getting better. So that gives us a really good chance to be better if we can stay
very good
healthy.
point. Very good.
So
Good.
that's
All right. Yeah, I appreciate that. Go ahead, Mr. Florida. Let me
One
get
thing
your
I liked
speaker
about
off.
it, this
Go for
draft
the
was like
floor
I
is
said, we
yours.
filled the holes. We filled the voids that we had. We got our needs met, and at first I didn't like that we lost a lot of draft capital, but I understand that it's a process. So I was just like, all right, we'll see what we do, because I went to bed like everybody else after round one, and I was like, damn, we ain't got no more picks until the fifth round. But we pulled off some crazy trades and made it do what it do. So honestly, there's not really a whole lot I can say I didn't like about the draft. I actually liked the draft. I thought it was well done with what we had, and I'm pleased with it.
Good. Yeah, those are very valid points, man. There's not too much to add. You guys brought up some great points to that yourselves, man. So overall, I think that like when they said earlier, and I just want to kind of piggyback off of that. We did not have a lot of picks to start off with, and we did the best with what we had, and I think we overachieved in that. And I'm glad, and I cannot give enough credit and kudos to our front office. I love that Jed York is finally has let these guys do what they do best. Man, he's stepped away. He's just being an owner. He's not meddling. He's not butting in. He's not meddling with anything. He's just allowing John Lynch, Kyle Shannon to do what they do. And hold on real quick. Mr. Mike went out. Let me bring him back in. I guess he wanted the speaker to be unmuted. So he's letting John Lynch and Kyle Shannon do what they do, and I like the direction they're going. I love that they're improving each and every year. I love the moves they make. Moving down, this is the second time they moved down one spot and gain extra picks, which is great. And there he goes again. And overall, I'm like, I like Kinlaw. I like that we were able to fill in somewhat the gap of DeForest Buckner. Yes, DeForest Buckner is a better player. He's proved to be a better player. He's a Pro Bowler, so I'm not going to compare. I'm not going to disrespect King Defoe by comparing Kinlaw to him at all. I'm not going to do that. But I think Kinlaw can come in, just do his job with a well-surrounded cast of Nick Bosa, Eric Armstead, and Dee Ford, and as long as he does his job, we should be okay there. So I love that they met that need. I also love that they were able to be aggressive. I may not agree with them moving up, but they have the reasons. They wanted this kid, and I believe if you want somebody bad enough, go after it, man. Regardless of what people say, go after the person you want, and they did that. They moved up from 31st to the 25th, gave up their 4th that they got, house money. No, just kidding. I won't say that. I just want to see Mr. Nate's reaction. But they gave up the 4th that they gained, and they gave up a 5th. And without that 4th, they're not moving up. So to be able to get that 4th out of Tampa was smart. And they were able to move up to get their guy. They got Brandon Ayuk. Now they just got to perform and let the fan base know that they were worth the picks, and only time will tell. But I love the direction the Niners are going. And I love the offensive tackle they took. I like that he has he's going to fight for guard, and I also like the tight end. We need somebody to block more. We have Juice, we have him, we have Kittle, and we have the run game. Now we have Trent Brown. Excuse me. Oh, I'm going to get hated for that. Ooh, I'm not going to hear the last of it from Mr. Nate for that one. I knew I was going to screw it up, and the show's almost over, and I had screwed up towards the end. God darn it. Trent Williams, and I'm glad I have Nate muted right now, because otherwise I would not hear the end of it. He's just smiling. Look at both of them, all 3 of them. It's okay. I screwed up. But Trent Williams, being the type of tackle that he is, I just love it. So I love everything they did, man. So I even like the kid they brought in from free agency, that running back from Baylor. I think I like that kid out of Baylor. I don't know if he'll make the team, but that kid, he's 5'8", has a lot of spunk. He's very good in special teams. So if you don't know who I'm talking about, I can't pronounce his name, but watch his tape. The unfree agent guy from Baylor. And I'm going to unlock this guys so they can finish up with me. But the guys from Baylor, that kid's undrafted free agent. I like him. Do you guys know who I'm talking about? The kid from Baylor, the running back, guys?
I don't know his name,
I ain't looked at the names
but
yet.
he was their starting running back. I can picture him, but the name is not coming to me.
Yeah, he's pretty good, but maybe he comes and replaces Breida. He's the same size as Breida, but overall, I give these guys great. I love what they did, man. I'm excited to see what the Niners are going to do. I'm excited to see who they're going to add in free agents more. So we just got to trust the process, right, guys? We got to trust the process, believe in what they're doing, and just support what they're doing, man. And with that said, I just want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank everybody for participating. Continue to show your support for this podcast by subscribing, liking, and hitting the notification bell here on YouTube, so that every time we go live, you will be informed. Please do that. Subscribe. It's right in the bottom. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the notification bell. Anything else, guys, before we call it a night?
No, we good.
We're good? All right, man. So altogether, bang, bang.
Niner gang. Bang, bang.
And again, all right, guys. Good night and God bless.